This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so here let's open this one, and we don't need this assignment, just delete, right? Yeah, so now actions and refresh. So we need to implement the UI, right? So we have done created what? But the process, I think it's already open. Click on delete, right click on delete. Save this flow, and so now yesterday we created what? Properties, right? So all of you clear that the topics we discussed till now? So any doubt? Want to revise those topics? Yes. So all of you clear, able to answer to my questions? Is it? All of you got this access for these notes? Yes, all of you got the access? Okay, so nobody talking. Yeah. So here, these notes.
No, I didn't got any access about the notes.
Did you share that your Outlook mail ID?
Yeah, I have shared my Gmail actually.
This is the Outlook actually. You can share your Outlook. I'll share you.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, please let me know anybody or not. I'm not able to understand or stuck in anywhere. So whatever the doubts you have while do the practice and all, we just try to discuss in our session. Okay, I'm ready to help you or discuss anything that if you want. Okay, just let me know for any clarification. We'll discuss, and please answer to my questions. Okay, I don't see all of you are not giving proper answers when I'm asking the question. So practice and go through these notes. That's will help you to learn quickly. So moving forward, we have started implementing the application, and lot many things will start. But you are still at beginning. It not help you at all. So okay. So what is the configuration we done in the last session? There we define the flow, and just like the flow is nothing but what here the process, right? Here we can add number of processes. It's nothing but a flows here. We'll discuss more detail about this configuration. And this process we see here, there are the connectors where we used to what is this shape? Start shape, it indicate the starting point of the flow, and the connector where it is pointing to the next. Okay, whenever it reach this flow, automatically it will be moving to this shape. So what are the shapes we have? Generally, this shape we calling as the assignment shape. We'll discuss more detailed when we have this flow topics. But as of now, just try to understand this is the assignment shape. Assignment shape always it'll wait to take user action. The user has to submit, then only it will be move forward. Okay, that is what assignment shape we calling as. So now each assignment shape where it is connected to some other shape. So there we using what? Connector, right? This connector where used to load the UI. Okay, these connectors we use to load the UI for this assignment. Let's see how we can implement the UI here. So we created one section, right? Customer info. What is the use of this customer? Section. Section is a presentation of the UI where you can design your layout and what? How that user can able to enter the input. What the data you are capturing in the UI. So that's what you are designing here, the layout and all. So there we have a different type of layers, right? So here we see, but it's have please have a warning. What is the first name? Because of that first name, this is a space. Trying that once. Okay. Um, and now you see the first name, last name, email, phone number, address. So this is enough for. This is the fields we created yesterday, right? Properties, right? Address, first name, last name, email. Okay. So this is, you can give the header for this. Click on it, and you see display header and title. Click on here, and what is the header? You can customer information. And submit. Save this one, and now I have to create one more section that's we use it to capture vehicle information. So now how to create that rule? User interface rule. Right click on create menu, user interface section. Okay, try to remember this or have the notes well, okay, on the session. So user interface, then section, click on it. And what we have to be consider while we creating a rule? The rule we creating in the what application, the rule we creating which is applies to the what class. What are things we need to consider? This rule is belongs to the what application and on what class, and what is the rule set it is belongs to, and then corresponding version, right? So these are things we need to be consider while we creating the rule. And what is the application where we have to maintain the rule? For reusability, framework layer. And now I'm just giving vehicle info, and now click on here. T-band I'm creating in the framework, okay, the work class. And what is the rule set? It is process and the version. Now click on create and open. So convert to section editor here. Now there is a default dynamic layout. So change this dynamic layout divide as a double. So select the layout format as a double. So why you need to select here? Because you want to divide that layout as a 2 columns, right? Now add one dynamic layout here. Add one more dynamic layout here. And now how can I add this fields? You can drag and drop from here as well. Let's see. Um, what we do? We can brand. Here you see. Okay. And one more way how you can drag and drop. Data capture, text input, like this. So vehicle brand, and also you do one thing, copy and paste. Okay, there are multiple options you can follow. The mostly you can select from here and drag and drop, and if you need you can do copy paste. That's it. So now click on the settings on this text input. What is the text input here? It is a control. The control, how it is we use it to display the property. I mean, how you want display the fields like drop downs, right? Autocomplete or kind of. So the type of control you can select here, and there you can add the property here, right? And now dot. So what is the property? Model that vehicle, and next brand, and so now vehicle brand, and next we can take price, right? And next, that's it only, right? Brand model price. As of now, we'll see. So these are the 3 fields. Let's save it. So what is the section? Section we use it to design the UI, which is the code generating in the backend what HTML and JSP. Okay. And now once it is done, creating the sections. Okay. The sections, what are the options we have? There is a design. The design we have different type of layouts. We can drag and drop and configure the properties to display the data into the in the section. So now there we have a capture like controls, okay, and different type of controls that we have. So just simply drag and drop and configure the UI. Now coming to the section, this is how we using this section, and there are the parameters, patient classes. So mostly these only things we do. And once we have done this, let's next go to the flow here. So what we have to be create, click on here, we need to create what? Flow action. So the section you created, right? Why you need to create the flow action here? The flow action we use it to what? The flow action is it is used to load that section. Once we create the flow action, right? The flow action it used to load that UI. Okay, and this flow action we use it to configure to run any, I mean get data and display into this UI, right? So if you want any logic you want execute before loading the UI or after submit this form, I mean the UI. So if you have any logic to want to execute, so that all the configuration that we do in the flow action. Okay, the flow action where we use to process the this UI. And that is what it's mentioned here. And now, so you can give the same name. Okay, the customer info. And now, so where I'm going to create in the framework layer and the rule set in version. So now the section, add the section here. So in this flow action, you create. Okay. So there is a layout. Just as default, it will be the current page context, and this is the class placed as default. And now here, select the section here. Okay, and save it. Right. Again, we need to create the vehicle information, right? So click on create process. In the process category, there you have the flow action. Click on it. Copy this one, vehicle info, and add it here. And what is the class which is applied to? Framework work. Now click on create and open. And press down array. Always press down array and select don't enter manually. Okay. So select here. Save this one. And it is done, right? So now, how whenever I create a case, how this UI will be loaded? See, when I create a case, it'll be trying to initiate the stage, and once it is initiated stage, it is calling this flow, and once it is calling this flow, what it will be calling this assignment shape. The start shape, and this control goes to the assignment shape, and immediately this is assignment have the connector, and this connector is configured with what a flow action where it will be load that form. So let's see, save all the settings. Just save it, right? Now click on here the launch portal for the user interaction perspective. Just like, so this is what do studio like the developer can implement the. So here everything we don't write the code, but we just it's a kind of developer tool that developer uh, can use it to develop the code here. But coming to here, the portals we have, the portals, the customer interaction that interact with our application. Okay, so that's what is the default portal. You can customize or design the portal as per the customer requirement. And here you see here the customer, they log into this kind of portals. So they now click on here, and there you see car loan and loan. So click on here on the car loan. So it is car loan. Just submit. What is displaying is just like the customer data is not presenting. Just let me. So the customer it's flow is what? It is not a normal flow, it is a screen flow. We not yet configured with this connector. So click on it. Here you see the flow action. So whenever you have the flow, which is this is a screen flow actually, as default it is created. But anyhow, add here customer info. Click on it. We have the vehicle information. So click on it and create. Click on the car loan. So the first one, go here. Anyhow, just enter anything here. Test one. Enter email, phone number, and address, whatever it. And model. The price, what is that data type we give? Text, right? Okay. But how? Okay, let's leave it as a text only. That is, we'll see. And now click on to create. So it is completed this, right? And it will go to the loan eligibility. Still loading. So here it is coming to here the loan eligibility, right? And here we see this is the UI we are not yet implemented. So we completed this current information. So this is a case it will be created. Okay, this is a C-2, right? So whatever the case we create, automatically one unique ID will be generated, which is a C-3, 4, 5 like this. So let's go to the clipboard. I mean, when you're processing this case, right? How do you know the data we entered for this case? And there, whenever the data you entered and submit, automatically the data will be stored into the database. Initially, we discussing right the instances where it is created is automatically mapping to this table. So now all the data will be stored in the format of what? Binary format. So now there is a clipboard. What is the purpose of using the clipboard? The clipboard, it's a temporary memory. Okay, so whatever the user interactions are trying to process, that all the information that you can see in the clipboard. So now you see you can select the thread here, C-2. This is our thread we use to process the case. And here you see, go to the page. What is the page which is holding the data of this case? PY work page. Say PY work page, right? Click on here on the PY work page, and all the data we have entered you see here: price, phone number, model, last name, and all customer details, right? And remaining all the fields you see here, PX, PY. So what are these? These our system it's create for internal purpose. Okay, and here you see our properties. So this is the page. The page is kind of any page, any name. I mean, this is a default page while browsing the okay case. The system will create this page, PUR page, and where it is used to hold the data. And this data, when this data will be commit, when you submit or perform any actions, automatically it will be update the data into the database. So here it updates the data into the database, but how it will be manage the data into the database? Binary format. So what is the format? Blob, binary large object. So always it is trying to extract the data from the database. So the concept is there is a loans, okay, home loans, car loans, whatever different type of case types, where it is holding different data, right? All this data will be compressed into the one single column into the database. So in the database there we have number of columns, right? But there is a blob column is there. So entire objects will be compressed into this binary format. Okay, I will show you in the database, but as I'm trying to understand the concept here. So all this data will be stored in the format of what? Blob. Okay, binary large object. So what is this concept and how we can use the data from the blob and how we can update the data into the blob? That is what we need to understand in further sessions. Got it? Any doubt till now? So this is tool is very simple, that you have to understand this navigation and the concept how you have to be implement. This is what you have to be focused and understand these navigations. The purpose of using this navigation is very important, because if you define this flow, but what is the configuration you have to implement, that's what you have to remember. So this is more about how you do practice more and more. Simply you can understand, because we are not writing any code, right? Just simply configuring this configurations and implementing all these things. That is what. So now we see that how to create a case and whatever the data we have creating. I mean, this is nothing but even simple call round request, right? Technically we calling is what? A case. Okay. Once I create a case, and it will be load what? Collect information, all the data which I have entered and submit. And this case used to, I mean, it's holding all this data related, holding this data, right? So kind of things. So this is how we used to process it, right? So what is the use of clipboard here? The clipboard is a temporary memory area where the memory loaded into the clipboard while we processing this case type, right? And this is a temporary memory, it will be erased once we log out. But the data will be committed to the database while we processing this the case here. And this is how. So now let's see. Once I have entered data here, I want manage the data into the separate table. How can I do that? Let's see. I'm going to create a case again, one more case. Click on the car loan. Then if I have entered some data here, click on to continue. Okay, and if I enter the vehicle information and click on create. So till now, what happened here? The case is not created until the data I finish, right? I complete. So this is what you see here. Now what to do now? So I want save this data into the separate table instead of processing this case. So how can I do that? Let's see how to create the data types, how we have to manage the data. Okay, save the data and update the data into the table. Okay, and now this is the data types. So till now we see the classes. What is the what these classes we're calling as work classes, right? Why we calling these classes the work classes? Because its a parent is what work class, right? So now going to the data types. This are we calling as the data classes because it is used to hold the data. Okay, and now click on here options, and here you see add data type. Add data type. What is this? Customer info. Okay, the customer info. Now I have entered this, the label of the class, and it is creating the class like this. But what is the layer have to maintain this data class? Always framework. So FW, press down array, select process data. Here you see framework data class. Select it. And this is automatically created by the system while I creating the application. That application specific classes it will be created. So you can continue to extend that classes. So this is the data class, and this is the class it will be create data-customer info. And what is the application framework? And this is the rules. Now click on submit. Okay, so what is the fields? Let's open the class here. Click on here and you see open class record, or you can open the class from here itself, application explorer. In a chain, here you see customer info. Here we see, right? I click on the class and definition. Click on the definition. You see the class settings here. This class is what concrete and the version, and you see this class is defined as what does not belongs to any class group. So here the concept is, what is the class group? So what is the concept of class group? Yes. What is the concept of class group? Yes. If you can able to hear me. That's what we have discussed it, right?
It is a collection of abstract and concrete classes.
Did you join 2 times?
No, no, no. It is a collection of abstract and concrete class where we can use to store the instances in the database. the class group.
Yeah, so it is a construct and concrete classes. Yes, so but this class is not belongs to any class group. What does that mean here? This class is not belongs to any class group. It have its own table to be store their instances of this class. Okay, that is what the difference you see. Okay, the classes you create which all belongs to the class group, automatically the class instances will be stored into this same particular table of the class group. But this time it will have its own table, but this class is not mapped to any table. What could be happen if the class is not mapped to any particular table? It will be mapped to what? See, check the test connection, and this table is mapped to the peer author. So as default it is mapping to peer author, it will be stored in the format of blob. So here you see this is a default table it is mapping to, but we have to create the table for this customer info. Now let's go here and add the fields you want to store into this table. So the first name, and this is the text. Submit add other. Last name, add another. Email, add another. Phone number address, right? So email and phone number. Phone, we have a type of phone, right? And now address, text, click on submit. Okay, so we have done all. Cancel it, and here you see the properties are created. So go to the records. Here you see there is no table configure. Click on the configure source. It is asking what is the primary key. Maintain the data into the table. So as of now, don't have any primary key. Just like what is the primary key? We can add it. I'll take one thing. Customer ID. Okay. So click on the configure. So customer ID, I'm just adding as the primary key, and these are the rules that will be created as default. Now click on submit. What could be happen? So it is create a table as a primary key. What? Customer ID, and the table will map to this particular class. And here you see the database table is created, and the mapping rule, the class, and these are the default rules it is created. Import definition, data page, and all, right? Now click on close it. Here you see in the table there is no data saved into this table, right? So now how can I save the data into this table? Here you see there is no data. How can I save the data into this table? That's what the requirement we can build, and we have to implement the rules. There we used to save the data into the database. So generally, what is the rules? We can use it. So that's what we see as of now, activities. So and this is what the flow action, the clipboard, okay, how we use in the clipboard, and just try to read it. And mostly I will suggest go through the help document. Suppose you have any questions here regarding this rule, so click on the action, you see the help, click on it. They were not yet added any help. There you have some help document as we have seen, right? Just find there, you can search it the section, and you will get it. Okay, so now I'm going to create activities. The activity is a rule, but it's a different concept. Let's go here. This is data is not yet added. Okay, so the activity, how to create the activity, and what is the navigation we need to follow. So activity is a kind of step-by-step execution of the code. So just nothing but we implementing the logic without writing any code. See, whenever there is okay, here we implement some code, right? Code execution will be start from always top to bottom, right? So here the same way we are used to implement activities as well. So there we have predefined methods. We have each predefined methods, it have its some functionality, okay, and there you can use it depending upon the requirement. So let's create the activity. So activities, which is the category of what? Technical, are able to follow this navigation what I'm explaining, because first thing that you may not remember, and second thing you not understand this navigation and all. So then you simply forget and not able to understand. Got it? So remember these navigations and understand the concept is very important. That's what even I'm asking the question, not able to give the answers, and uh, so are you able to follow these navigations, whatever I'm explaining till now? Because going forward you may not understand better. It's only you can do with the practice. Let's see. So the purpose of logic, okay, the purpose of logic, you have to give that the meaningful name here. Okay, so this is a different thing that Pega recommends don't use activities. Why means it is create I mean generate a lot of Java code in the backend. So that's what the Pega, I mean the activity, Pega tells not recommend to use these activities to create. But as of now, for understand the concept, I'm creating. So I'm creating here save customer. Save customer info. The purpose of this activity I'm using for what is the logic I'm implementing here to save the customer info. Now this class is applied to the what? Work class. Now click on create and open. So now this is the customer info, right? So here you see the steps. You can add number of steps here, right? You can add number of steps, and each step there you have one label. The label you can comment this code, or you can allow to execute. So this is what you do. So while writing the any programming code, you can comment the code, right? The same way we can do here the comment. And the purpose of using this label, when condition is true, we want jump to first step to fourth step. So you can give something. You can give like a. So when this condition is true, then automatically it will jump to first step to fourth step. So it will be skip the execution of steps 2 and 3. So like this. So this is the purpose of using the label. And now coming to the loop. Loop generally we do on list, right? Okay, loop we do on the list. So which is like the value list, value group, pages. Embedded page is nothing but page list or page group. And this is the top level page. So there is also, you see, loop here. Loop means the for loop you see here. Okay, and so here the loop you see, okay, we can refer on list type of value list, page list, or in the for loop. That is we'll see. And coming to here the when condition. So you see the customer address or city something, the condition is true. Okay, what is the logic? I mean here you want skip the step or jump to any other step. So this is what we do here, or exit the activity. Exit means it will be uh, close this activity. So kind of things. So how, I mean conditionally you want proceed this step or not, or conditionally you want jump to another step. That is what we do here, the when condition, right? So now coming to here the method. The method we have the number of predefined methods we have in Pega. Okay, and here suppose you're trying to use some methods, right? Before that you should understand what is the purpose of using that method. So now select any method here. So I'm selecting here the property set. What is the use of this property set method here? You see, whenever activities you open, you have one get help, or click on it. Let's see here the question mark. You'll get the document, help document, and here you see. So property set, the method we can use it for what? Use it to set the data to the another property. Okay, so you want map the property, I mean the property value to another property, and this is right side the property we refer the property which is holding the value, and we are this left side the property this value we are assigning to this property 1 and property 2. From property 2 we are assigning to property 1. Got it? So now this method we use to set the data, and this is a step page. The step page means generally while you're processing the case, right? So what is the page which is holding the data of this class? Sorry, of this case. It's a PY work page, right? The PY work page. So generally, This is a activity is also in the work class, so automatically it will be take the step page as a PEY work page, or you can specify any step page here. Okay, and that is what. So default it will be take the primary page. What is the primary page here? PEY work page. So it will be take the context of PEY work page. What is the class of the PEY work page here? So C-2 and this is a C-2, and here you see PEY work page, and this class the page is what? Carlo, and here you see all the data. And now here, how can I manage? So now here you want copy the data to some other object. How we can do that? Okay, that is what we have some number of predefined methods. You just need to understand. Mostly obj methods and property methods. We are using mostly those methods. Okay. Now coming to here, if you want pass any parameters from the UI, okay, so that's we can do. That is we'll discuss later how we can use the parameters. Okay. Now page and classes. You want refer any pages here, or you want access any other pages. And now this is a work class, right? But you have a data class, a different type of classes we have, right? But all that the corresponding pages were loaded into the clipboard. Okay, loaded into the clipboard, and from the clipboard you're trying to access in the activity. This is a kind of bit tricky part you have to understand, but it's more you practice you can simply understand, right? And now I don't need any slippage, but I want store the data into some particular table. So what is the table I have created here? Customer info data class. It is a not a work class. Okay, I want store the data into this table, right? So that is what. And also we created customer ID, right? So just create one more property, click on the property and create. So there are the multiple ways you can create the properties. Click on the create menu, right click on the class, create, okay, and right click on the property. Also you have the option to create the rule. So there is a multiple ways we can create the rule. And now just create customer ID, and this is the class. See here the difference you observe. Click on here and create. Automatically we have to select here context, and but when you click on it here, automatically on the context you creating, right, automatically these options were added. Now click on create and open. Leave it as a text, save it. So let's close this one, and also we should add it in the UI, right? Go to the customer info. So copy this one and paste it. So click on here on setting. Here you can add the customer ID and click on submit and save it. So we don't have the customer ID, which is already loaded, right? Create a case, one more case, click on the car loan. Where is the customer ID? Okay, I had saved it. Click on it, save it. So click on create Carlo. Now the customer ID is a 123. Name test1 @, Gmail, and The last name you can give the same. Can give anything. Continue. So the model you can enter and price, something that you can enter. So let's click on, it's not created any case, and click on to create, it will be create a case, right? And now here you see this data I want to store it. Before that I need to implement the logic, right here. So this is what we'll see how we can implement the activity. So here I want map. Before that I need to have the page where I want user to hold the data, right? To map the I need to create a page for the class, for this data class, and then I use it to map all the data from POA or page to the the page we used to create it for the data class, and then we have to save the data, I mean the page, to the database. That is where we'll say. Okay, the changes that we'll see it tomorrow. So try to go through these recording the activities. Did I added any information? No, that's a URL I have added. So click on here in the methods. You see all the methods information. So here you see obj methods and property set method. The method used to set the values. Okay, we'll discuss more detail about the activities tomorrow. So any doubt regarding that today's session? So any doubt from all of you? What up? Is it clear from you? Okay, share your Outlook ID. So I will share this document. I'm sending. I think I've shared you, right?
Uh, yeah, I did not find it. I haven't checked. I'll check again.
Yeah, you can check it. I'll add proper notes here, but try to go through it and practice. So all of you install the software.
Yes, I have installed.
Okay.
Initially faced a problem with this local host connection.
What is the problem?
The Postgres connection error or something it was there. So then I found out that by installing Visual C++ redistributable version 2015, and then the installation was completed.
Kind of ports, any of the ports which are using existing software, so it not allowed actually. Okay, fine. So try to practice, and try to answer to my questions. Let's say it tomorrow.
Okay.